Hello and welcome to Compassion Offensive Cooks. Today is Monday, November 16th, 2020. And today I'm going to show you how to take an eggplant and jerk it so that you can substitute it for chicken. And then we will make a jerk eggplant Rasta pasta and jerk eggplant fried rice with pineapple. And this is what it will look like. Let's see what it tastes like. Yep. And our Rasta pasta, it tastes divine. It's really just this wonderful mesh of flavors. You just really have to try it. Okay, so here are our ingredients. We have our eggplant, and we have some store-bought Walker's Wood jerk seasoning. I usually get spicy, but you may want to try mild. The mild is very spicy on its own. If you cannot find this brand, then you can try Grace. You can make your own, but I want to make this as simple as possible. So this is a very good alternative. So for the Rasta pasta, the eggplant Rasta pasta, we have some basic pasta shells, whatever you like, use. I have Alfredo sauce. Of course, you can make your own Alfredo sauce. But I like Bertolli as a brand. When I went to Italy, they have this brand in Italy. It's the only American brand that we have that I saw that they actually use in Italy. I usually like Paul Newman, is really good as well. If not, then I'm going with Bertolli. I have some Rical, which is just like cilantro. Some seasonings. We're going to keep the seasonings very basic because the jerk sauce is going to give us a lot of flavor. So we have ginger, some thyme, some adobo, some allspice, some dill weed, some white pepper. Most of this is for the rice. For the pasta, I'll likely just use the adobo, a splash of dill weed, and some white pepper. We have some grapeseed oil. We have some mixed veggies. Have some peppers. We have some kale, some more veggies. I still have some leftover okra, so I'm going to put that in. This is the quinoa. And then we have fresh pineapple. You can use a canned pineapple, but I'm also going to make a smoothie later, so I just bought a whole one. This is the brown rice and some coconut milk. So those are our ingredients, and let's get started. Okay, so let's start on the rice. So what I like to do is let my rice sit in some water first, and then just give it a good twirl. A lot of people do this with white rice, but you can do this with brown rice as well. It gives it a nice, just cleans it, and then it also helps to get some of the starch off. So I'm going to rinse this water off. So I'm just going to put the rice in the water, and it's white because I put coconut milk in it. So you want to put 2 cups of water, coconut milk, for every cup of rice. And then, because we're adding quinoa to it, it's the same portion. And that's what makes it so easy to incorporate quinoa in your rice and get all those nutrients. Say you're making 2 cups of rice, or you're making 3 cups of rice, just do 2 cups of rice and 1 cup of quinoa. It's that simple. So you just substitute 1 cup of rice for quinoa. And I don't soak the quinoa. And just like I do all my rice, I'm going to put some allspice in it. Just a few of these. I don't need any. Again, we're doing glassed, so not the fresh thyme, but it'll work just as well. Put some thyme in here. Put a couple shakes of some ground ginger. And some pepper. And a chicken bouillon. Just drop that right in there. You can do vegetable or beef bouillon, whatever's to your liking. And because it's a new week, I'm going to put a Scotch bonnet pepper. I just leave some in my freezer. I'm just going to put a Scotch bonnet pepper right in there. Instead of butter, you can put some butter in your rice if you like. I come to find that just putting some coconut oil works just as well, so it's not too dry. And because we're going to make this into a fried rice, I'm not going to worry so much about putting any other vegetables in this right now. So we're just going to let this, it's already at a boil. So we're going to turn this down and let that cook up. Okay, this is going to be the easiest meal, literally so easy and so flavorful. So the first thing you're going to do is cut up your eggplant, dice it up, and then you're going to slather on the jerk sauce, let it sit. Super easy. So you're going to cut these up. I recommend cutting the eggplant no more than this thick. Just when we cook it and sear it, I've noticed that if you make the slices any bigger, it doesn't taste the same. And we want this to not emulate, but taste as much meaty and savory and thick as possible. So cutting them thinner actually accomplishes that. So you want to cut these up. And of course with COVID, if you're feeding a ton of people, it's probably smart to put on some gloves. It's just me. You guys are just tuning in, so we're just going to get a bit dirty. You want to take some jerk sauce, just put it right on the eggplant. You don't need a lot, which is why I say to use your hands. If you slather it on like this, you're likely going to put too much on. And jerk sauce can be kind of expensive, so just really want to coat it. And so it's going to look like this. Put that down and do the rest of these. We're going to take this and put it in the refrigerator, or just put it to the side. You want it to marinate for at least 15 to 20 minutes. It does not have to be overnight because we're going to sear the flavor in, but a couple minutes is good. So while you cut up your other vegetables and let the rice cook, or let the rice freeze, just have these in the refrigerator. Okay, so now we're just going to cut up our other veggies. We got some kale here. Cut that up. Kale I love. Kale is one of those foods that I didn't get into until fairly recently, but I just love the way it smells when you cook it. You can just tell that it's good for you. One of the easiest ways to incorporate kale in your diet is really just to put some salt, squeeze some lemon, chop it up and put it in the oven. Let them get crispy and eat them like kale chips. Your house will smell so good. Your body will thank you and it tastes delish. Another way is just to cut it up and put it in your rice, or put it in any starch. Like I put it in my home fries sometimes, my rice, my pasta, that kind of thing. Well, our rice is done. Ik ben fertig. Take a look. Yummy. So unless this is leftover rice and it's already cold, I'm just going to take this and put it in the freezer just to stiffen it up a little bit. You know how like fresh rice is kind of soft? So I'm just going to stiffen this up since we're going to fry this up in a bit. And then we will just cut up our vegetables. Vegetables. And like I said, I'm using okra, kale, some peppers, and then I have some frozen veggies. Whatever you have. You got carrots, celery. You can even put potatoes or pumpkin, whatever you have. The more the merrier. And I'm thinking of starting an OnlyFans. Do you think that people will want to see me cook nutritious and delicious meals online? I was thinking, you know, everyone's doing it. It might be a great way for me to monetize and pay for all these great ideas that I want to do with Compassion Offensive. I have so many, but I mean, for what I want to do, just a basic camera is like $10,000. So I just wonder. I guess we shall see how this turns out. Okra is one of those vegetables that you can eat raw too. Like if you are making avocado, you can substitute fresh okra for nacho, for the chips. So just because they're nice and crunchy, literally just dip this into your avocado, your guacamole, your queso cheese, whatever you have. You can substitute okra for the nachos. And cut up the pineapple. Hey, I've got guests. I think people heard I was cooking and now there's that come. Now we're just going to cut up the pineapple. Again, you can use canned. I'm going to be making smoothies later, so I just decided to get the whole thing. Again, the spiciness of the jerk for the fried rice, just with the pineapple, it just tastes so good. So the easiest way to cut a pineapple open that I know is just here at the bottom, cut through here, save this to time later. Then you sit it up, right? And I'm sure you lose some pineapple this way, but I just go around the whole thing and cut the skin off. And because pineapples become sweeter as you cook them, we're going to put them in last. So good. So you want to be around this size. It's perfect. Okay, so we're about to cook up the vegetables. What we want to do is start the pasta. So I put some water on. We're going to let that come to a boil. Put a little bit of oil in it so that the pasta doesn't stick. And I like to season my pasta ahead of time. I feel like when you take pasta out of the water, you should be able to just eat it as it is. It should already be flavorful. So I put my salt and pepper right in the water and let it cook in. And remember, we're making two separate dishes here, so just be mindful of that. That's where we're cooking so much vegetables. But what we want to do now is cut up the eggplant into strips. Doing that makes it easier to just fold it into the pasta or to the rice. And I don't know, it just, once you taste it, when you cut it, it just does something to it. Oh my goodness, it makes it taste like beef fat almost. It's incredible. So let's cut this up. I'm going to cut them into strips about this size. So while I'm cutting it up, I'm going to get the pan started so it'll be nice and hot. And I like to just put a splash of water in it so that it's not a full fry. Okay, I can hear it sizzling. So I'll put these in here. Okay, so it's been about 6 minutes, and it's starting to stick to the pan. We like that. You want it to stick to the pan. That means that the flavor is searing it, being seared in. And it's still very tender. So this is what it looked like right now. And I'm going to let it sear some more. It's been about 6 minutes, so I think it needs at least another 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been cooking for about 10 minutes now, and we got pieces that are nice and stuck to the pan. Got this wonderful dark color. It smells amazing. It tastes really good. We are going to go ahead and start folding in the other vegetables. So I'm going to fold in this, put this kale in here, let it start cooking with it. Actually, I like to cook preferably in a copper or a steel or iron pan. Especially when you're trying to brown things, it's easier than, say, in a non-stick pan. Some people say that non-stick pans cause Alzheimer's. It's been a correlation. I had a really good friend who would clean up houses, and he said he noticed that the ones that were passing of Alzheimer's had a lot of non-stick cookware. So I try and stay away from that. But for the sake of me having so many vegetables, I'm just going to transfer this into a non-stick pan. And if all you have are frozen veggies, then that's enough. Pour that in there. It's really good. Alright, so I'm just going to cover this and let the flavors mesh, and and finally our pasta water boiling, so that's ready. We'll put the pasta in, and so I'm gonna clean up while these cook. Okay, so we're gonna put the rice in to the pot, let it fry up a little bit. It's nice and cold. It's got a lot firmer just from putting it in the freezer for about a half an hour. I'm going to put this right in here. So it's kind of popping. Get it down a little bit. Now if you want to add egg, the whole point of the eggplant is to be using less meat, but you've added the quinoa, you've got all these veggies. I mean, it's so many good nutrients in them. Whatever you need to put in this to make you at least try it, just start there. Chicken fingers, french fries, well, maybe not french fries. We're going to put this in here and let this start to cook up. so excited to taste it. And very similar to the eggplant, for me, I like to let it cook until it is kind of stuck to the pan, and then scrape it and flip it over to give it a nice crunchy consistency. So with that, we're on our way. Okay, so we got the pastas done, and the pasta part is pretty much finished here. We are going to add our Alfredo sauce. There's no reason to take the pasta out once it's drained, so I'm just going to put the Alfredo sauce right in here. And I'm just going to give it a coating. I'm going to drench it. And I'm going to just put the veggies right in here. And the pasta's done. Let's try this side. So I've used about half of the veggies, and this is what the Rasta pasta is looking like, just out. It smells so good. And then, so we'll just put this aside, and then we have about half of the veggies left. Get back to the rice. Perfect. Flip that over. And it's just nice and brown on one side because it's stuck to the pan. That's how I like it. I'm going to flip it over and let the other half of it brown. And then especially since if you make the rice the same day and it's not leftover rice, letting it brown a bit ensures that it's not too soft. And I'm going to put the pineapples in now too. I'm going to put these pineapples in here. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. Did I do this? I can cook, I can clean. Let me tell you how I do my thing. I'll make a song out of anything. Okay, so we're just gonna let the rice finish up cooking a bit. I'm gonna finish cleaning, and then we will plate this, and it is time to eat. Yum. Let me feed you. Now let me show you how you can feed yourself. Okay, so the rice is pretty much done. I gauge that by the brownness, how much is sticking to the pan. I like it a little burnt. Especially when you put the pineapples in, if you choose to use pineapples. The pineapples are really wet. It's really juicy. So allowing it to brown ensures that the rice doesn't become like mashed potato-y. So I like mine in this consistency. So now we're just gonna put the remaining veggies in here. Great. So this is what it looked like. It's looking like. This is what it's looking like. So I'm going to turn up the heat a smidgen. And just let this cook together for maybe 3 minutes max. The flavors can kind of gel together. Okay guys, so we're all done here. And this is what it will look like. Let's see what it tastes like. Yep. And our Rasta pasta. It tastes divine. It's really just this wonderful mesh of flavors. You just really have to try it. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. And please come again. Cheers.